Good day everyone, Quinn here, back again with another tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to set up your DHCP. It's a very simple process, so let's get right to it. So what you want to do to start off with is we're going to have to go to manage and we're going to have to add roles and features. We're going to add a new role, which is the DHCP. So we know how this process goes. We press next, we press next, we press next. All these will stay the same. We are going to select our DHCP server. It's going to tell us the features it's going to add. We click add features and then we click next. We click next again. It's going to tell you everything that we should notice, we should know in terms of with the having an IP address ready for the DHCP server before we start, which we already have. So you press next, and you can also select restart the destination server automatically if required, so it will restart the system if need be. Select yes and click install. So the installation may take some time, so I may have to speed up the video just a little bit. Right, so the process is now finished. However, we have one more thing that we need to do to complete the DHCP configuration. So you have to click into this here. From here, it's going to tell us that we need to give it the authorization and everything. So you see that it has to complete, so we press next. We need to authorize it using the user's credential. We're going to leave it as server 2012 0/administrator. This is what we're going to use. And we press commit. As you can see, it just has to say we have to please restart the server system for the target computer for the security groups to be effective, and it's already authorized. So once that everything is authorized and we have it good, we can close this. We can close this as well. So we have our DHCP. So the next step is really simple. What we have to do now, we go into tools. We go into DHCP, you can open it, and you can see we have our server 2012.com, so we can open into this. We are going into the IP version 4, but that's what we're going to be primarily configuring. Open that, and it's going to tell us that we need to add a scope. A scope is a range of IP address assigned to the computers requesting a dynamic IP address. You must create and configure a scope before dynamic IP address can be assigned. What that means is that we have to create a scope in terms of a various amount of IP addresses that can be assigned to the client systems. We already have a client system, which will be the Windows 7 and the Windows Vista. But the scope we have to create could be wide. It could be as simple as 10 to 100. It could be a very wide spectrum scope, as well as you can make exceptions where certain IP addresses will not be given to the client. Let me show you how it's done. So what you have to do is we right click on the IPv4 and select new scope. Here it gives us the new scope wizard startup. So we select next and we have to give it a name. I'm going to give it a very simple name, scope. Something just funny, I just want to put that. So we give it this, select next, and we give it the scope in particular that I was telling you about. So we're going to give it a very simple scope of 192.168.0.50. So we want to leave it with the first three numbers of 192.168.0 because we'll have utilized that for the DNS and so forth when we were setting it up. So that's the main IP address. That's what the main range we want. The main set of stuff we want to work with. The 50 to this range that I'm going to give, which is 192.168.0.60. This is the range that is playing in, but the IP address would stay within this level. That way, the domain and everything, the domain wouldn't see it as anything different. So we press next. Now we can exclude an IP address in particular from this, which we are going to do. So I'm going to put 192.168.0.52, and we can add it. So this will be the one particular IP that will not be given. select next. There's a lease duration. The set default lease duration is normally 8 days. We're going to leave it at 8 days. So we select next. And you say if you want to configure this option, yes we do. So we select yes. There's the router default gateway to add an IP address for a router used by clients. You don't necessarily have to set this, so you can skip this one, so you can select next. We can see that the parent domain is in fact server2012.com. We already have our IP address of 192.168.0.20. We don't have to add anything else, so you select next. We do not edit anything in regards to Win server. We leave this alone by itself, so we select next again. And it asks us if we want to in fact activate the scope now, in which we do. So we select next, and we are now finished. So we have our scope here, that scope. Once we open it, we can see that we have our address pool of 192.168.0.50 to 192.168.0.60. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our client system and actually give it a DHCP. So let's do that. Right, now we are in our client system. So let's set up the DHCP on this end. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click on the network and sharing center. Well, the network, to open up the network and sharing center. We will go into our local area connection and we'll go into properties. We'll have to type in the administrator and password. We select Internet Protocol version 4. And as you can see, I already set it up whereas it will obtain an IP address automatically. And you're going to keep the preferred DNS server as 192.168.0.20. So if we close all this, we press OK, and we select the details, it will show that it's actually pulling the IP4 address of 192.168.0.50. And the DHCP server is in fact the 192.168.0.20. So it is actually pulling it up. A more wider way to see this would in fact be to open the command ipconfig -all, and it will show that it is preferred to pull this particular IP address, as well as it's showing that the DHCP is enabled and everything. So that's basically it here. And I can also just show it really quick on the Windows Vista system. I'm just going to use the command ipconfig -all, and it will show that the DHCP is enabled on this end, as well as it pull the IP address that would follow suit, which will be the 192.168.0.51. So yeah, the DHCP is now set up on the systems, and that is basically it. So the process is a bit tricky. At times you have to play around with it, but it's still a very simple process. So that's it for this video. I do hope you enjoy. Can't wait to see you again. Well, talk to you guys again really soon in the next tutorial. Besides that, take care. Have a nice day.